The American Revolution did not begin with gunfire. It did not begin with protests or taxes or even rebellion. It began quietly, decades earlier, in ideas, habits, and expectations. Long before 1776, the people living in Britain's American colonies were already becoming something new. Not quite British, and not yet American. This is the story of that transformation. To understand why a revolution became inevitable, we must first go back to Europe, and to a restless world searching for escape. In the 16th and 17th centuries, Europe was a continent under pressure. Kings ruled by divine right. Churches controlled belief. Wars drained nations. Land was scarce. Opportunity was limited. For many, the New World promised something radical. Space, possibility, and reinvention. England did not come to America seeking freedom. It came seeking profit, power, and stability. But once people crossed the Atlantic, something unexpected happened. The first permanent English colony was founded in 1607 at Jamestown, Virginia. The settlers were unprepared. They searched for gold instead of food. Disease and starvation nearly wiped them out. Survival forced adaptation. Tobacco saved Virginia's economy, but at a terrible cost. Native lands were seized. Indentured servants were exploited. And soon, African slavery became central to colonial life. From the beginning, America was built on contradiction. Hope and cruelty, opportunity and oppression. Farther north, a different experiment was unfolding. In New England, Puritan settlers arrived seeking religious freedom. They wanted to build a godly society, a city upon a hill. Yet even here, freedom had limits. Those who disagreed were punished or expelled. Still, something remarkable emerged. Town meetings, local elections, community decision-making. Ordinary people learned to govern themselves. Without realizing it, they were practicing democracy. Between the northern and southern colonies lay the middle colonies. Places like New York and Pennsylvania. These colonies were diverse. Multiple languages. Multiple religions. Trade flourished. Ideas circulated. This was the world that shaped thinkers like Benjamin Franklin. A man who believed progress came from reason, debate, and cooperation. Across the colonies, something was forming. A shared experience, even without a shared identity. For much of the early 18th century, Britain largely left the colonies alone. Historians call this period salutary neglect. Parliament passed laws, but rarely enforced them. Colonial assemblies handled local matters. Taxes were raised and spent locally. Colonists grew accustomed to autonomy. They governed themselves, defended themselves, prospered on their own terms. Freedom became not a theory, but a habit. At the same time, a revolution of the mind was spreading across the Atlantic. The Enlightenment challenged old assumptions. Philosophers like John Locke argued that power came not from God, but from the people, that individuals possessed natural rights, life, liberty, and property. If a government failed to protect those rights, the people had the right to change it. These ideas did not arrive as weapons. They arrived as books, pamphlets, conversations in taverns and town halls. But ideas, once planted, are impossible to control. Yet this growing sense of liberty existed alongside deep injustice. Long before independence, Native American nations were being pushed aside. Through treaties broken, wars fought, and diseases spread. Entire cultures were displaced. At the same time, millions of Africans lived in bondage. The colonies spoke increasingly of freedom, while denying it to many. This moral contradiction would haunt the nation long after independence. Then came the war that changed everything. From 1754 to 1763, Britain and France fought for control of North America. Colonists fought alongside British soldiers. They learned military discipline. They saw British authority up close. Britain won the war, but victory came at a staggering cost. The empire was drowning in debt, and London began looking west, toward the colonies, for answers. By 1763, America was no longer just a collection of settlements. It was a society shaped by self-rule, enlightened ideas, economic ambition, and growing expectations of freedom. The people had changed. The empire had not. And that tension between control and liberty was about to explode. This is where the spark begins. Dear viewers, welcome to this grand epic journey, the complete story of the American Revolution. This is not merely a tale of war, it's the birth of a nation, the struggle for freedom, and the immortal saga of human rights. In 2025, as we celebrate the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, Ken Burns' new 12-hour documentary, The American Revolution, has revitalized this history. In this video, we'll trace the entire story in detail, from prelude to victory and legacy. Dramatic events, heroes' courage, and untold tales all await. Let's step back in time. 1763, the French and Indian War, also known as the 7 Years' War, ends. Britain is victorious but drowned in debt. The Royal Proclamation of 1763 closes land west of the Appalachians, reserved for Native Americans, but colonists from Virginia and Massachusetts are furious. This increases frontier defense costs and establishes permanent British garrisons. 1764, Sugar Act. Duties on sugar and molasses decrease, but collection strictens. Colonists cry, no taxation without representation. No reps in Parliament, why tax? This wasn't unknown. Colonists aided in the 1756–63 war, but now they feel exploited. 1765, Stamp Act. First direct tax, stamps on documents, newspapers, playing cards. Colonists boycott, formed Sons of Liberty. Led by Samuel Adams, protests, Violence, tarring and feathering stamp officials. Stamp Act Congress. 9 colonies issue Declaration of Rights, asserting colonists' rights as British subjects. Untold story. Women's role begins. Mercy Otis Warren writes protest plays. 1766. Stamp Act repealed, but Declaratory Act asserts Parliament's absolute authority. Colonists happy, but tension rises. 1767. Townshend Acts. Duties on paper, glass, tea. Customs Board in Boston. Colonists boycott. Massachusetts circular letter deems acts unconstitutional. Governor dissolves Assembly. 1768. John Hancock's ship Liberty seized, riot. British troops arrive in Boston. Untold story. Black colonists involved, like Crispus Attucks. 1769. Treason Act reactivated, trials in England. Outrage. 1770. Boston Massacre. March 5th, soldiers fire into crowd, 5 colonists dead. Crispus Attucks' first casualty, a freed slave. John Adams defends soldiers, acquitted. Anti-British sentiment grows. Lord North PM, most Townshend duties repealed, tea remains. 1772, Gaspee Affair. British ship burned in Rhode Island. 1773, Hutchinson letters published, anti-colonial views. Committees of correspondence form. Tea Act, cheaper tea, but tax remains. December 16th, Boston Tea Party. Sons of Liberty, disguised as Mohawk Indians, dump 342 chests of tea. Untold story, women involved. Daughters of Liberty boycott tea, make homemade substitutes. 1774. Intolerable acts, coercive acts. Massachusetts Government Act changes charter, restricts meetings. Administration of Justice Act, soldier trials in Britain. Boston Port Act, harbor closed. Quartering Act, troop housing. September, First Continental Congress. 12 colonies, Georgia later. Continental Association, boycott British goods. February 1775, King George declares Massachusetts in rebellion. 1775, April 18th to 19th, Lexington and Concord. British seize arms, Paul Revere and William Dawes sound alarm. The shot heard round the world. 15,000 militia siege Boston. May 10th, capture of Fort Ticonderoga, Benedict Arnold and Ethan Allen lead, providing artillery. June 14th, Second Continental Congress. Continental Army formed, George Washington Commander-in-Chief. Olive Branch petition to King, but King proclaims rebellion. June 17th, Bunker Hill Battle, actually Breed's Hill. British win, but 1,000 casualties, General William Howe leads. August, Quebec invasion fails. October, Boston siege. Untold story, Sybil Luddington, 16-year-old girl, rides like Revere, but longer and more dangerous. January 1776, Thomas Paine's Common Sense published, promotes republicanism, sells millions. States overthrow governments, draft constitutions. March 17th, British evacuate Boston, Washington fortifies Dorchester Heights. June 7th, Richard Henry Lee proposes independence. July 2nd, Lee Resolution passes. July 4th, Declaration of Independence adopted. Thomas Jefferson drafts, John Adams, Benjamin Franklin involved. All men are created equal, but compromise on slavery. C5 Untold Story. Mary Catherine Goddard Prince Declaration, a woman printer. July, British land in New York, defeat Washington at Long Island. September, Staten Island Peace Conference fails. New York City seized. November, Fort Washington falls, 3,000 prisoners. December 25th to 26th, Washington crosses Delaware, wins Trenton and Princeton. Untold Story, Hessians celebrating Christmas, surprise attack succeeds. 1778. February 6th, France signs treaty, alliance. June 28th, Monmouth battle, inconclusive, but Americans hold ground. July, French fleet arrives, Comte d'Estaing. August, Rhode Island battle fails. December, Savannah captured. Untold Story, 1st Black Regiment, under Slave Enlistment Act, slaves fight for freedom. 1779, Sullivan Expedition, destroys Iroquois villages, breaks Confederacy. Spain joins alliance. 1780. Charleston siege, 5,000 prisoners. Camden battle, Lord Charles Cornwallis wins. October, Kings Mountain, Loyalism. January 1781, Falcons battle, Daniel Morgan defeats the Master Tarleton. March 15th, Guilford Courthouse, Nathaniel Greene's battle. Untold Story, Francis Marion, Swamp Fox, wages guerrilla war. September 1780, Battle of the Chesapeake, French Admiral de Grasse defeats British fleet. September 28th, Yorktown siege begins. Washington, Rochambeau, and de Grasse's combined force traps Cornwallis. October 19th, surrender, 7,000 to 8,000 British troops. Untold Story, Cornwallis sends Deputy Charles O'Hara with sword, who offers to Rochambeau, but he defers to Washington's deputy Benjamin Lincoln. 1782, British withdraw, Charleston, Savannah. November, preliminary peace. 1783, September 3rd, Treaty of Paris, independence recognized. The revolution ends, but the new nation's challenges begin. 1783, Treaty of Paris signed, but how will these 13 states unite? Articles of Confederation weak, no central government, can't collect taxes. 1786, Shays Rebellion, Massachusetts farmers rise against taxes, showing need for new system. 1787, Constitutional Convention. George Washington presides, James Madison, father of the Constitution. Drama, Slavery Compromise, 3/5 Clause. Untold Story. Benjamin Franklin, 81, sees rising sun on chair as sign of hope. 1789, Washington first president. Federalists versus Anti-Federalists, Hamilton's financial plan. Question: imagine if the Constitution failed. In 2025's 238th anniversary, we see how it still shapes democracy.
1803, Louisiana Purchase, Jefferson buys land from France, doubling USA. Lewis and Clark Expedition, Sacagawea, Native American woman, guides, untold story, her courage saves mission. 1812 War, Second War with Britain, impressment of sailors, native alliances. Drama, British burn White House, but Andrew Jackson wins New Orleans. Mystery, war ends in Ghent Treaty, but news delay causes last battle. 1814, Star-Spangled Banner, Francis Scott Key's lyrics amid bombardment. Question: what if America lost? 1820 Missouri Compromise, slavery balance. In 2025 anniversary, we see it sparked civil war. Revolution's legacy. Slavery divide. 1860, Abraham Lincoln elected, South secedes forming Confederacy. 1861, Fort Sumter attack, war begins. Drama, First Bull Run, Union loss. Robert E. Lee vs. Ulysses S. Grant. Untold story, Harriet Tubman, Underground Railroad heroine, Union spy frees 700 slaves. 1862, Antietam Battle, 23,000 casualties, bloodiest day. Lincoln issues Emancipation Proclamation. Question: what if Lincoln lost? 1863, Gettysburg Address, Government of the People. Mystery. Confederate spy Rose Greenough, her coded messages change war. In 2025, Civil War reenactments trend. 1864, Sherman's March to the Sea, burns Georgia, total war. 1865, Appomattox surrender, Lee yields to Grant. Drama, Lincoln assassination, John Wilkes Booth shouts Sic Semper Tyrannis. Mystery, conspiracy theory, Secretary of War involved. Reconstruction, 13th Amendment abolishes slavery, 14th citizenship, 15th voting rights. Untold story, Freedmen's Bureau, helps black Americans with schools, land, but Ku Klux Klan terrorizes. 1877, Reconstruction ends, Compromise of 1877, Jim Crow laws begin. Question: did it bring real freedom? In 2025, new Civil War movies and docs trend. Post-Civil War Industrial Revolution, Rockefeller Oil, Carnegie Steel, robber barons. 1890, Wild West, Billy the Kid, Wyatt Earp. Drama, Oklahoma Land Rush, thousands race for land. 1898, Spanish-American War, remember the Maine. Teddy Roosevelt leads Rough Riders. 1917, World War I, Wilson, War to End All Wars. Untold story, Harlem Hellfighters, Black Regiment, earn French Croix de Guerre in 992 missions. 1920, Prohibition, Al Capone gangster era. Mystery, Black Dahlia murder shakes Hollywood. Question: what if USA skipped World War I? In 2025 World War I anniversary, new docs trend. V4B 1 inch. 1941, Pearl Harbor, Japan attacks, FDR, Day of Infamy. World War II, D-Day, Normandy invasion, 156,000 troops land. Drama, Hiroshima-Nagasaki bombs, atomic age begins. Untold story, Tuskegee Airmen, black pilots, fly 992 missions without losing a bomber. 1945, World War II ends, Cold War begins, Berlin Wall, Cuban Missile Crisis. Mystery, Roswell UFO Incident, Alien Cover-Up. 1950, Korean War, Forgotten War. 1960, Vietnam, Tet Offensive. Question: what if Kennedy assassination didn't happen? In 2025 World War II anniversary, virtual reality tours popular. 1954, Brown vs. Board, school segregation unconstitutional. 1955, Rosa Parks bus boycott. 1963, Martin Luther King, I Have a Dream. Drama, Malcolm X assassination, conspiracy. Untold story, Fannie Lou Hamer, Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party, her testimony shakes TV. 1969, Apollo 11 moon landing, Neil Armstrong one small step. Mystery, moon landing hoax theories. 1974, Watergate scandal, Nixon resigns. Question: what if MLK lived? In 2025, Civil Rights Movement new docs trending .92374D. 2001, 9/11 attacks, Twin Towers collapse, War on Terror begins. Drama, Iraq War, WMD conspiracy. 2008, Obama first black president. Untold story, Operation Neptune Spear, Osama bin Laden kill. 2016, Trump election, populism rise. 2020, COVID pandemic, lockdowns, vaccine race. Mystery, COVID origin theories. 2025 updates, Trump's second term, global conflicts. Revolution's 250th anniversary preparations, new documentaries, VR tours. Question: what's America's future? This history teaches. Freedom's fight. Thanks, subscribe, F8A5A117D35. 2025 to 2026, the 250th anniversary of the American Revolution. The White House Task Force has planned a full-year celebration from Memorial Day 2025 to July 4, 2026. International Fleet Review in New York Harbor with tall ships, reenactments in Boston, including the $25 million renovation of Dorchester Heights Monument. Drama, statewide events in Massachusetts, Virginia, South Carolina. Untold story, new symposiums highlighting Spain's contributions. Question: how will these celebrations unite today's America? Ken Burns' new documentary plus VR tours are bringing history alive. In 2025, it's trending, people are feeling patriotic pride. 2025, Los Angeles faces its most destructive wildfires, Southern California winds and drought fuel the flames. January, Potomac River mid-air collision, Army helicopter and passenger plane crash, no survivors. February, Toronto airport crash amid North American storm complex flooding. Drama, Florida State University shooting. Mystery, hacktivist group leaks police documents. Politics, Trump's second term, Ukraine negotiations, Gaza reconstruction. Question: how are these events shaping America's future? 2025 also saw Puerto Rico power outages, California tariff lawsuits. Untold story, Google Calendar removes DEI holidays. What does history teach us about America's future? The spirit of the revolution, freedom, innovation, is still alive. We must learn from 2025's challenges, climate, politics, and unite. Question: where will America be in the next 250 years? Untold story, space telescope shutdowns, new discoveries. Drama, global conflicts, but America's resilience. This epic journey isn't over, it's ongoing. Thank you for watching. Share your thoughts in the comments. History belongs to all of us. Subscribe so you don't miss the next update.